Dan's gonna sue you now. You're gonna get sued by Dan. That
Well,
that's it.
he doesn't own that phrase. That's Flynn's phrase.
I mean, basically, he says it enough that he owns it. It has become his.
Darn. Okay, well then I'm gonna have to switch to something else. Hmm. 4 score and 7 years ago, our forefathers. Am I
No,
good?
I'm pretty sure this belongs to somebody as well.
Ah, crap. Okay.
I'm sorry, Ben. It's just the reality. You're gonna have to greet people in a different way. You're gonna have to
Okay.
brainstorm.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? I need to silence my phone because I sent a text message right before we started, and I'm sure that's gonna come back to haunt
Ooh,
me if I
who'd you
don't.
text it to?
My family. I said, hey, you guys should get Infinity War tickets.
Oh yeah. Oh, Bagheera, I'm glad that Murky showed up.
Mackie.
Yeah, sorry it took so late to go out. I had to find boxes and then stuff got busy and then the one time that I actually went to go ship it, the drop box for the mailbox was actually broken. And so I'm like, well shit. And then I went home as opposed to going to a different, post office. Because I'm lazy like that, I guess.
You gotta get that murky.
Yes. We must get the Murky.
Yep. Welcome to the start of the show where we just do funny voices for the whole thing.
That's kind of the whole show. That's what we
Yep.
on. I
Welcome.
hope
That's
people
the
listen.
pre-show, the show, and the post-show.
No, the post show is usually, like highly intellectual.
Oh yeah, it gets very sophisticated then.
Yes, that's when we discuss our thoughts and feelings on funny voices during the pre-show and the actual show.
Yes, the voices and what they mean.
Yeah, Svensson, the Marvel talk will come. I promise. Probably not going to be doing a spoiler cast for Infinity War tonight because we know we're not.
Yeah, I want to see it again before we spoiler cast it.
I
So
want to see it
that's
again just because.
that's Sunday for me, and Ben and I will figure out a time to record that, and that will be a bit of bonus content that we put out there. So we hope you all enjoy it, but it's not going to be tonight.
No, sorry.
Oh
It
my
won't.
gosh, Draven, I just got why you said I was the duck.
I just got it too. Oh
That
man.
took a really long time.
Oh my gosh. Svensson, I'm only on two, unfortunately.
I
I have,
thought he was just saying I was the kind of person who's never satisfied.
well, that's it too, but
No, I'm satisfied sometimes.
sometimes.
I didn't know it was a reference to Grape Guy. I had to actually get back to being on this show before it clicked.
Wow. That's kind of crazy.
I was on. It's what, couple days of
Yeah.
not getting a joke? That's fine. All right.
Oh
Well,
man.
I got it now. Now I get the joke. Um,
So I'm randomly I opened up my little text window template so that I can, randomly throw in a fun episode title if something, hits me during the middle of the show. That's how I do that, by the way.
yeah.
And I jumped into the bumpers folder, and now I'm looking at all the random stuff that I have of quotes of you that either I've sent to Scott or I've just kept because it's fun.
Okay.
And I just kind of want to go down the list and play them all.
I don't
But
know
I'm
if we should play them all, but maybe we should play one or two.
okay. Hold on. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pick a number between 1 and 8. I'm just gonna play one of them.
I'll let the chat room pick. Chat, you can pick.
Okay, the first number that shows up between 1 and 8. That's the one I'm gonna play.
Hopefully, someone in the chat decides to play along.
5. Okay, 5. So let's see. 1, 2. Here it goes. It's gonna take a little bit to load because my computer's weird.
Oh, okay.
Still tries to open sounds with groove music. Here we go.
Oh, holy shit. I'm going to listen to this episode.
Yep. Good.
Yeah. All right.
Good, me. I'm glad you're going to listen. All right. The next actual number was 1.
1. Okay. Oh no, I don't think we should play that one.
Oh no, don't play 1. If it's what
You know
I
which
think,
one it is.
yeah, don't play 1. Sorry, Dazzledorm, we're not playing 1.
Okay, we'll do 4.
4.
Let's see. The 5 was the first one, so I'll just do this one then. Okay, cool. Let's run right over it.
I'm excited.
Okay, good. That one is one Scott has played a lot, so I've heard that one plenty.
I'm glad.
I'm excited.
Yes, you are.
Okay. If anybody,
The silky chicken. I'm gonna call it the sexy chicken.
the sexy chicken.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Ben, should we do a show?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, let's do a show then.
Okay, I'm gonna stop the pre-show recording that I never use because it's just the two of us and we talk about mundane things.
Yeah, we're not exciting people.
Yeah, when it's just the two of us.
Mm-mm. So buckle in for an exciting show.
Oh, well, I realize when I say it like that, yeah, that's not good.
This show's not going to be good. Tune in.
Welcome to House Roll the Roundtable, episode 268. It's Friday night. It's a new night. It's a new show. It's a new episode. And with me, as always, is John Jagger. How's it going, John?
Hello, Ben. It is Friday night here in Azeroth, and I'm excited to be joining you at the round table. It is a table. It is round. We are at it, and we are going to begin. I'm thrilled. I actually didn't feel very well today, but I'm gonna fake it till I make it.
I'm glad that you're here because, I mean, here's the big thing. Every Friday, I get to talk to one of my best friends about something I absolutely love.
Mm-hmm.
And I get excited every week for the show. What can I say? It's pretty cool. So I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that we're going to talk about stuff. And on top of that, that's a really snazzy new background that we have for the roundtable.
It is, isn't it? For those not joining us live, we got a new overlay in honor of the new expansion. I got perhaps a little excited ahead of time and created it now. You know, it makes it feel like it's more real, like it's on its way.
Yeah, I think I might need to actually switch places on where my screen is because I'm going to be looking to the left the entire time, which is like off screen as opposed to me kind of looking at you.
I did an adjustment at the start because I noticed that I was also looking the other way. We both had a tendency to look the other way, so now I think I'm going to...
There we go. Okay, so now I'm turning this way. We're going to see if that works. There, now it looks like I'm looking at you. Okay, cool.
Great.
Yeah.
Figured it out.
That works. Oh wait, hold on. I need to move my little thingy there. So okay, cool. And this has been an episode of Behind the Scenes of Azeroth Roundtable.
Mine's still not going to be good. It's probably not going to be good until next week because right now my camera is not centered. So I'm actually leaning really awkwardly in my chair right now as we're recording because if I sit where I would like to sit, it looks like this.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you can't see it live.
Yeah.
But you will in a minute.
Assuming.
You'll know it when it gets there.
Seconds here. Couple seconds. Oh, look at that.
So.
Man, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, I just gotta just move the camera a little bit.
But anyways,
so
John, it is a new week. It is time for a new episode to go along with our new background.
That's right.
And there's something that I've got to, well, not get out of the way, but there's something that I think that we should just say really quick because it is a very good thing.
Okay.
I know that you're not actually, that big into the Overwatches as much as you used to be.
Mm-hmm.
But Blizzard is doing something absolutely fantastic for Overwatch, and that is they have a specific Mercy skin for breast cancer. Oh. So if you actually buy that skin, I think it's $15. A bunch of that money is actually going towards breast cancer research and all that stuff. So, you can buy it for yourself. You can actually log into the Battle.net browser and gift it to other people. And I got to say, it's something that you should do, even if you don't play, just because, it's a very, very good cause.
I think the skin looks great.
Yes.
So
I like all the pink ribbon detailing and stuff, too, all over the place. It looks really awesome.
Yeah. So go out and check that out. That's a good cause.
And from the chat room, Draven Dresden did update. It is 100% of the 15 is going to charity. So not only are you getting something awesome in game, everything that you're getting is going towards charity. So good job.
Cool. That is a good deal.
Yeah. Okay, so anyways, getting into the actual WoW portion of the show.
Okay.
Which, who knows how long that'll last. But well, I mean, you've heard the show, right?
Everybody's money was on us talking about Marvel today, and we are not going to.
Well, we're not going to talk about Infinity War today. Who knows if we talk about Marvel? We can't make those promises.
Yeah, that's true.
The intent is not to. How's that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I think that's the right way to go.
Okay, good. I'm good with that. So, there's something that I've been doing in World of Warcraft.
Okay.
And that is not exactly playing World of Warcraft, but, kind of dipping my foot into the beta. Now, this isn't going to be like beta spoilers, or we're not going to talk about story or anything like that. But something kind of caught my eye in the, like kind of the human area and stuff. And granted, I haven't gotten very far. In fact, I haven't even gotten to Colteris yet. But I'm very excited to actually get to that point because I love the aesthetic, John. I think it is awesome. I like the whole port town idea. I like the weird Wiccan like druid forms of stuff, like all that. And I'm really, really excited to, be able to spend some time around that area. And it got me thinking. What exactly? I need to form into words, though.
I was like, do you need me to ask you what? Have you become that much of a prima donna that you're like, I have an idea, but I will only tell you if you ask me what?
Well, part of it is I had to swallow some saliva at that exact same time, and then it took a little longer than I thought. And then I'm like, oh God, I haven't said anything.
We didn't need to know that part, Ben. We were good. We were fine. We were making it happen. And
for the people at home,
they didn't need to know.
Yeah, okay. Well, anyways, so you got me thinking about, some of the previous aesthetics and everything like that, because as well as kind of, dipping into the beta a little bit, I started playing God of War, and I'm absolutely loving the different, design and like architecture and theme and everything that you see everywhere in God of War. It's, very Norse heavy versus, the previous ones that have been very Greek heavy. And it really gave me a huge appreciation for all of the work that Blizzard puts into in like creating all the different aesthetics and stuff. So I don't know. I thought maybe we could just kind of talk about some of the neat things, or, possibly some of the different fun stuff that we've seen over the expansions. At least a little bit.
I realized this as you were speaking, and I like all of a sudden, have you ever had one of those moments where it's like you wake up and you think, okay, I know how today's going to go. I need to do this, and I need to do this, and I need to do this. And that's it. It's going to be an easy day. Today's going to be fine. And then all of a sudden you remember that you totally forgot something. And you're like, today's not going to be an easy day. Today's hell. Why was I so excited a minute ago? Why didn't I realize my life had descended into this chaos? So that just happened while we were talking just now.
Okay. For today?
Yep. Right now. Literally right now. It just happened to me.
That I need to know that we need to end this early or something?
No, but it's bad. So, I want to have an Alliance character in this new expansion. I want to see both sides of the expansion. And, I saw the druid forms that you're talking about, and I really liked them. And I was like, yeah, those are cool. I'm going to level up a druid. That's going to be what I level. And then I was like, but wait a minute, because I'm going to have to unlock those, which means I have to have something ready to unlock those.
Don't you have a 110 Alliance side character right now?
I do, but I don't want him.
Okay, well, let's start with this. What do you currently have?
I have a 110 War.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about the War. Okay. And why don't you want him? Is it because he uses a weapon and not his claws?
It's because, well, yes. One, yes. Two, uh, I have a level 110 orc warrior
Yeah.
who feels awesome. And he was a stupid boost warrior, and he does not feel awesome. He feels the opposite of awesome. He feels like a little wet noodle that can't hurt anything.
The orc?
No, the war
Oh, the
war.
war. Okay.
I think that word upsets people, but I'm going to keep saying it.
What, the war?
War.
Yeah.
He feels bad, and so I don't want to play him because I'm like, no, there's a better version of you. Here's my problem. I should have done a different spec, because if I had done a different spec, I wouldn't have noticed. I would have been like, oh, it's probably because protection is garbage, and I wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have blamed the tune. I would have just blamed the spec. But in this case, they're literally the exact same thing. So it's like having a good thing and a bad thing.
Well, no, because they have different gear. So you can make the argument that if you work on it, it'll feel the same.
I don't know if I want to work on it. What? Okay. This is where people are going to be like, John, I'm writing a letter and telling you need help. But at least they'll understand why I've played the game for as long as I have. Because here's what I'm thinking, Ben.
Okay.
What if I leveled a rogue from level 20 to level 110
Mm-hmm.
instead of getting better gear for my 110 character?
Because you got to have that sweet heritage armor, right?
Do I? I don't think any of it's that good yet.
But John, you like options.
I do like options.
That I can quote you on that.
Yes, in the car today, I was like, hey, can you do heritage armor cross faction? And you were like, no, you can't even do it cross race. And it bummed me out a little bit. And you said, why are you sad about that? Do you really want something? And I was like, no, I just want options.
Well, okay, how about this?
I already see it in the chat. I'm so confused. Wouldn't it be easier to gear them? Yes, Retro Raven, this is exactly the point. I have a problem.
Wait, level a Lightforge Paladin 20 to 110 in 3 hours? Wow.
Wait a minute. You didn't do that.
Hey, people play how they want to play.
With the way leveling is right now, I refuse to believe that. I can't walk a foot in Azeroth in 3 hours anymore, it feels like.
Yeah. Okay, so the ultimate goal is for you to get a Kultiran Druid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now weigh how much you actually want that artifact armor. Or the heritage armor. We have heritage armor, we have artifact weapons, and we have heirloom gear. So it's like I have a lot of different qualifiers for gear. I'm gonna say the wrong thing. So, do you want the Kultiran heritage armor?
Do I want the Kultiran heritage armor?
Yes, because ultimately you want the Kultiran Druid, right?
Right.
Okay. So, if you don't want that armor, why don't you just level a Druid? And then when you unlock the Kultiran, race change the Druid.
But I want the armor. Didn't I just say I wanted the armor?
Well, no, you said you weren't sure.
Kultiran armor has a trench coat. I'm gonna quote the chat room because they
Holy
made
crap,
my.
it does?
Yes, it looks great.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm leveling Kultiran now. Simple as that.
I don't think the Void Elf is the coolest in the world, but
No.
But here's the problem, Ben. So, like, let's say I did do a level boost, which is something the chat room has pointed out. You could just level boost. I could. But here's the problem is if I did, I probably would play a Void Elf Rogue. And if I'm gonna have to play a Void Elf Rogue, shouldn't I get the heritage armor, whether it's super important or not?
Yes, John, you really should.
So, isn't what we've learned here today that the only answer really is for me to just start over and level 20 to 110
Mm-hmm.
on a Void Elf?
That's what you should do, because Rogue is the only class that you play. I mean, how many rogues have you actually deleted?
Many. A lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. As far as I know of, only one that was actually max level.
Yes, there was one. My main character, my first character, not my first character, my first serious main rogue character I deleted. Because they got to a point where, I mean, this was before they had all the services they did now, but like, I've been a fan of Blood Elves since the Warcraft 3 expansion. Like, I thought their lore was super cool and super interesting. And so when Burning Crusade came out, I wanted to play as a Blood Elf, not an undead. And so they didn't have race changes or anything like that. Obviously, they wouldn't for a while. So I just started over. Like, I wanted to be a rogue and I wanted to be a Blood Elf. So I just started over fresh. And when I got both of them up to level 60 or 70 or whatever it was back in Burning Crusade, I just deleted my main. Because that's what you did.
Yeah, that is exactly what you did. I remember seeing them both right there next to each other. I'm like, John, you have 2 max level rogues. Like, yeah, but this one's got better gear and she's newer.
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember that fondly,
I
actually.
mean, the greatest thing for me that Blizzard ever added to the game was the ability to recover, like, deleted characters and deleted loot, because I accidentally deleted the character that had my Blizzard Bear on it.
Oh man, I did not know that.
Yeah, I lost access to the Blizzard Bear for a big chunk of time. And when they added the ability to recover that stuff, I got it back. Actually, I think when they unlocked the mounts are unlocked across all characters, I think is when I got it back, technically.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So, anyway.
You know, whenever anybody, does the whole I've got a better mount than you game, that's the one that I always end up on. It just comes to the fact that it's like, okay, well, I've got a lot of this, a lot of similar mounts and everything like that, and people are showing stuff off, and this is cool, and I match them, like, that game.
Mm-hmm.
And finally gets to one where, like, it's okay, well, you had to beat Mythic, Antorus to have this one or whatever. I'm like, oh, that's really cool, or something that's a really super low drop rate. I'm like, that's really neat. Blizzard Bear. And then I just ride away.
Well, I think we've reached a good therapy point for me. We've realized that it's correct. The only course of action is to level a rogue.
Well, question for you, though.
Okay.
When you do unlock the ability to make that sort of druid, what spec are you going to play?
Probably Kitty.
So, a rogue.
Come on. I am not about... You know my long-standing stance on druids. I am not about to give Kitty rogues a pass here.
Kitty rogues, huh?
No, I'm saying that's a thing that I'm not going to allow to be said, because that is not a thing. Druids are nature's tryhards. They are wannabes. They are not rogues. They are rogue-likes.
Okay.
It's just like in video games. This isn't a rogue game. This is a rogue-like game.
And I figure that the only time that you'll ever be shapeshifted is when you're in combat. As soon as you're out of combat, pop out so you can show that sweet, sweet trench coat.
Yeah, when I get it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, dang it, because seriously, now I'm going to have to level up from 20 to 120. Oh my god, I have level 100 levels to get a trench coat. One race? Oh, worth it though, right? It's so cool.
Yep, it's worth it. It's totally worth it. I don't know. The things we do for Transmog, like, oh my gosh. I swear, like, right now, it is the biggest slog in the world trying to level a Warlock. And I do think some of this is what we talked about last week with changes to leveling and all of that. But the biggest issue is, I think I've found out why I don't have any caster characters.
Because you like to get right up in there and look things in the eye when you kill them.
I don't think it's even that. I think it's I like to feel spammy with my abilities
Hmm.
because let me tell you, it might as well take 7 years for me to cast one of my spells as a warlock. I hit the button and I'm just like, okay, all right, here it comes. It's gonna get you.
Okay, so how is that different than when I'm trying to level up my rogue and I'm running around in the invasions and I'm waiting for energy?
Oh, you like never waiting for energy. You waiting for 2 seconds for
Are
energy.
you kidding? I'm waiting forever for energy. I'm
Do
just
you,
sitting there. I'm like attack, 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 attack. Okay, dump my points, attack, attack, attack. And like seriously, I'm just sitting there and I'm just constantly waiting to be able to just do the next move.
you play a freaking mage. This should feel like freaking a marathon compared to that.
I've got a cast bar going up, and then I know exactly when I can hit the next one. Whereas, I'm waiting for the little button to fill in and stuff, and I'm just watching, and I'm just like, oh, come
Well,
on.
okay, I'll tell you the secret. The secret is you don't wait.
Okay.
The secret is you just keep hitting two.
Oh, so then I just have to hear like I don't have enough
No,
energy.
you turn off error text.
Oh, okay. So that's why. Okay, that's starting to make a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I'm constantly waiting. Whereas, yeah, with the mage you can't do that because it's gonna. Okay.
Yeah. So I just sit there. I mean, that's the way I play. I just sit there. I'm just two mouse button. Two mouse button.
So you're just like
Two
super
mouse button.
patient on your road. Okay.
Uh-huh. It's
And
very
that's why
active.
we're
It
at
feels
rate
very
anytime killing or attacking something. That's why whenever you talk, it's okay. Makes sense.
Yeah. Does it all fall into place now?
It does. And so the fact that you just think something's happening as opposed to something actually happening.
Probably.
That
Yeah.
that's exactly what it is. Oh
It's-
man, case closed. It's solved. We're done.
See, that's what would make casting more fun for me, is if there was like a little mini game I had to play during the casting animation. Like if a thing popped up like oh, do you remember the summons in Final Fantasy VIII where you would just hammer that button and it was like
Yeah.
you had that window of time where you could hammer the button?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah, I forget which summon it was, but yeah, you just hit it as much as you can, and the more you do, the more power you do.
but if you hit it past a certain point, it resets. So it was
Mhm.
always like stop. And then you would be able to shoot it. If I was doing that in WoW, I'd probably be way more into casting.
Yeah. That's dude, that explains so much that I never even knew about you. Like I should have known. I should have known. But yeah, I know as a caster, yeah, no, I'm perfectly fine with it. It's great.
I
Just,
don't,
watch the bar goes up. I've got an add-on. I think it's I don't remember what it is. But I've got an add-on that, even shows like the latency on there so that you know exactly when you can hit the next
is it
spell.
quartz?
I think it's quartz, yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to say that, but I'm like, no, because I got that split up or mixed up with X Pearl, because pearls and quartz are
The
both
same
precious.
thing.
Quartz isn't that
Yeah.
that crap's everywhere.
Yeah. Literally the
But-
same thing.
Yeah, they're both made by mollusks.
Yeah, I think the thing for me is this. This is why leveling is hard as a caster, that I'm having a problem with. Is that when I see something, I know exactly what it's going to take to kill it. I know I'm going to press 1,
Mhm.
and then I'm going to press 2, and then I'm going to click my mouse button, and it will be dead. And it's simply waiting for my character to go through the process of all these things and
Okay.
me watching it happen. And there is something incredibly agonizing about that for me, that I'm just like, okay, I've pressed 1. Here's my press of 2. Actually, I do think I hit 3. I think there's a 1, a 2, a 3, and then a mouse button.
3.
A 3. And then there's a version where if I don't have enough soul shards, where I just spam 3, or maybe I spam 2. I don't know.
You just hit buttons.
Yeah, but I'm just watching it happen. It feels very passive to me.
And see, it's different for me. Like, so when I am leveling on a mage, like say fire, for instance, it's so variable and it's so unpredictable as to what you're actually going to cast next. It's going to be okay. I'm spamming fireball unless I get like my one like my hot streak, and then I make sure to crit with my Inferno Blast, and that gives me the free Pyroblast, and then I cast Fireball, and then launch that at the same time as my free Pyroblast, and then I might get another one again. And I mean, you're stacking all this fire, just throwing stuff out there. And I mean, the times when I've been out in the world and just killed something before it even like turned around has been many. Conversely, the same mob, if I'm not lucky with the crits, can get right up to my face and start smacking me. I mean, it's one of those things where, depending on which way you go, at least on a mage, it's a lot of fun, and it adds an element of danger and also like badassery to it too.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm trying to dunk on Warlock
Oh,
super
you can't.
hard. I
They're
think at
cool.
high levels it's probably, fun, and I'm sure there are people that enjoy the casting speed even leveling up. The problem is I feel like I've been doing the same thing as a destruction warlock
Mm-hmm.
that I've been doing since I was like level 10, and now I'm level 70 something, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I still feel like it's okay, I use these three abilities to kill the one thing, so I can now go kill the next one thing. And it's not my speed.
Well, try a different spec. I mean, I know that you're not too keen on some of the other ones, like especially the dotting and stuff, because you're just like, okay, now I'm doing nothing while I wait.
Yeah, now I'm watching. It's
Yeah.
throw a bunch of dots and then just channel my beam.
Mhm. Exactly. But when I switched to Frost, and like it's the first real time that I've leveled as Frost, and it took a while to get used to. It wasn't as explosive, it wasn't as critty and everything like that. But then all of a sudden I started realizing that I have a lot of access to, some awesome like instacast spells, and the AoE on Frost is magnificent. It is insane depending on some talents that you choose. Like, I had a lot of fun as Frost. I can't believe I even said that. Um, as I was going through leveling some of the Legion content, because all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm getting jumped by a bunch of stuff. And I don't know why it wasn't working in Draenor, but in Legion, I would hit Frost Nova and things would stay where they were, as opposed to it not hitting at all and then them chasing me and, running after me and killing me. And so then that happens. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna put this like debuff thing on this thing so that if I hit it with an ice lance, it explodes, attacking everybody or hurting everything around it. I drop my ice comets, which looks really cool. I drop a blizzard on them. I put my frost orb out there, and it's like I've got 5 different AOE things killing like 8 different mobs just right in front of me, and I'm just like, this is pretty cool. No pun intended.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. I mean, the only spec that I didn't really level as when I was leveling up my Nightborn was Arcane, and I'm kind of sad about that because I mean it's really flashy and it looks cool, but I've never been a big fan of. Okay, you really have to pay attention to all of your mana, otherwise you're just gonna die. So yeah, but I gotta say I enjoyed Frost. I still prefer Fire most, but I'm okay with Frost for now. It's not bad.
Hmm.
So try a different spec out. You never know.
I could. There's a part of me that just wonders. There's a part of me that feels guilty with the concept that maybe certain classes aren't for me. It feels weird because I played WoW for so long, It feels like, oh, I should have one of everything, is almost the feeling. And so
Yeah.
there's almost this weird, like, when I think about making a rogue or a warrior or something like that, there's this part of me that's like, no, but I've done that. I should do something different. I should do something new. And that's always the temptation. But then when I'm doing that, I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, but what if I was a rogue? Like, and I think it's okay to say, you know what? Hey, this class isn't my thing. I would rather play something I've played before. But I'm having a really hard time convincing myself that that's okay.
Well, it's funny because, I've got the goal of going through and, finishing all the different classes, getting them up to 110, doing their order hall story and stuff, which I realized that the thing that's holding me back is the leveling part of it. Because it's like, yeah, as soon as you get to 110, you can just fly through that order hall story and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So all I'm doing is like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do invasions. If an invasion is up, I'm going to take as many people through it that I can stomach at the time. And, I'm slowly learning that there are certain like actual invasion world quests that I just can't do without dying 20 times. So those I just skip. But going through all of them, I mean, obviously the ones that are 110 already, I'm all for and they're cool and everything. I'm finding that I really need to learn how to play a rogue. Like, it's not that I don't have fun with it. It's just that's kind of the last one that I've done anything with.
Well, let me give
So,
you a tip.
yeah, turn off the error messaging.
Turn off error text. Which, by the way, I played WoW on my laptop while I was house sitting, which is what I was doing this past week. And so all my settings were default. And I heard my Nightborn talk for the first time, and it really freaked me out. I was just like, what? Whoa! Because you don't realize that if you turn off error text, you barely ever hear your character. And so to suddenly hear her talking was really weird to me. I was just like, what? Ooh, okay.
Yeah, seriously, the Nightborn female to me just sounds like Sylvanas all the time. So anytime she'd say something, I'm like, you sound like Sylvanas. I mean, it's cool, but I don't know. It's just I'm sure I'm hearing it wrong, but it's cool.
But yes, turn that off. Get rid of that. That's thing one, and then just 2 and then whatever button you put your finisher on. I don't know why I'm forcing you to put Sinister Strike on 2.
Well, the funny thing is that I think I do have it on 2 because of how my macros are set up.
So 2, and then finisher. 2, finisher.
Yeah, that's absolutely great. And okay, so anyway, so Rogue is the low end. Shadow Priest, I don't enjoy. So I think I'm actually going to go through and swap to Discipline to try that out. Because I don't know what it is, but I don't live very long as a Shadow Priest. Possibly because I'm not casting Shadow Mend on myself, because I totally forgot that was a thing.
I'm with you, though. I was really looking forward to playing Shadow Priest because I like the feedback of that. And at least in Legion, this expansion, I switched to Discipline during those... back when we were doing the invasions to level up all our characters.
Yeah.
I started as Shadow, and I hated the rotation. Even in the fun we're giving you free levels stage, I was like, I don't like this at all. And I switched to Discipline. Discipline is super fun, or at least it felt super fun. I can't say that it stays that way, but I had a freaking blast with Discipline.
Well, the big thing about Shadow that I like is the artifact. I love that it talks to you. Go like, sanity is your your thing that you're doing, and I've got to go take care of a cat, so see the show really quick. I'll be right back. Sorry, John, entertain the people.
Hi everybody, John here. We're you know what, we'll throw back up the setting up the round table because Ben has to go take care of a cat. Aren't cats fun, everybody? They're the best. Anyway, chat room, hello. Let's talk about classes. Apparently that's what we're talking about tonight. I didn't realize we were, but apparently that's what we're going to talk about. Tell us that joke you know. I only know the jokes that I look up for Saturdays for There Will Be Dungeons. And I usually only know the ones that I did like the week before or whatever. So right now the one that comes to mind is I went to a restaurant yesterday and they asked, do I have any reservations? And I said, no, I'm sure I want to eat here. So I know that. I remember the one from the week before of I thought about making a belt out of watches, but then I realized it'd be a waste of time. I remember that one.
Hi, sorry about that.
And I still remember the original one. Hi, Ben. that yesterday I heard a joke about beavers. It was the best damn joke I ever heard.
Oh, that's a good one.
So I'm getting a small repertoire of jokes and having to look them up for Stanley. And I like that I have go-to jokes, but they are all super bad. So that's, that's one of the advantages. So anyway, Ben's back.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Cat's quiet,
Yeah,
and we'll go
the
back.
cat, I think I kind of talked about it before, but she goes into fake heat. She's been fixed, but it's anxiety driven, so sometimes it just happens. So sorry about that. Anyways, I'm unpausing now.
Well, this is all going in the YouTube, so
Yeah, I know, that's fine. Anyways, sorry about that brief little nothing there. In fact, I'll mark it down and put a little sound effect or something. I should do that.
let's put a duck quacking.
Okay, cool. That works.
That's how I used to solve things when I had to edit podcasts.
You just put in a duck.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
If people go back, if you ever want to find John's editing, go back and find the episodes Ben was not on in Azeroth Roundtable.
That's right.
And I didn't have bumpers usually, so I would just put in birds and ducks between segments. It was fun.
Yeah. So anyways, Shadow Priest, the artifact is cool. I love the insanity and everything like that. I've been going through as a feral druid, and that's actually not that bad. I'm actually kind of enjoying that, which is why I think that the rogue I'll enjoy a lot more once I learn to play her a bit better. But like the big surprise for me is my Death Knight. It is so cool.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's interesting to me because the Death Knight, I think, as you know, was the one that I had the hardest time with. I tried every spec. I dumped so much artifact power into all three of those weapons. I feel like I spent as much time trying to find the fun as a Death Knight as I did leveling the Death Knight.
Well, for me, I think a lot. Well, first of all, John, it definitely has a you need to have patience kind of thing for using abilities. Because about maybe 3/4 of the way through like a long fight, I'm like, I'm waiting. So that happens. That's a thing. But I think a lot of it has to do with the aesthetic and the headcanon that I have for my Death Knight, because I have a male Tauren as my Death Knight. So big hulking undead thing totally works with that. So, awesome, cool animations. I'm going through as Frost because, Shards of Frostmourne, why wouldn't a Death Knight ever choose anything else? But
because it wasn't a fun spec to play, Ben. Let me tell you the way that you get all those other artifact weapons, because I inherently agree with you. The way you get them is when you realize, I hate this spec, and you decide you need to change.
Yeah, no, I mean, seriously, I'm having a ton of fun with it because I walk into battle and I've got these just two awesome, swords I go through swinging around. I have Cindergosa's like, breath attack and stuff. And I mean, I just feel like I'm just this massive pillar of death for anything that comes in my way. And the only time I ever had an issue was I was doing a world quest and like I was attacking one thing, and then all of a sudden 5 things spawned around me because it's a little tiny area and there's a bunch of people killing things. So it's like, oh, that's not good. And I died repeatedly because of that. But I'm really enjoying it. I think I've got it at 106 now. But yeah, that's going to be my next 110. I mean, I just finished my Hunter, which, yay.
Did you do much Death Knight leveling when they first got added to the game?
When they first got added, yeah, I had one at 80.
Because I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think like previous incarnations of the Death Knight is why I have a hard time with Legion Death Knight. Because this is so dumb. This is what got me. I was just like kind of not finding it originally on the Death Knight.
Okay.
And I was just playing music. I was at alt stage, so I wasn't listening to the WoW soundtrack anymore. I would usually have music or something else going.
Mhm.
And Disturbed started playing. And it worked so well with what I was doing as a Death Knight. I was just like, okay, we're going to make a playlist that's all based around Disturbed and that kind of music. And
So
I'm
basically, you did total edgelord stuff.
Yes, and it totally was great, and it was the most fun I ever had leveling. It might be the fastest I've ever leveled a character,
Oh
because
my gosh,
I
that's
would
great.
just walk into like the busiest section of mobs I could ever find, yank them, kill them, grab something else, kill it, grab something else, kill it, grab something else, and there would just be circles of bodies around my character because I just wouldn't even move. I just
Oh yeah.
plant my feet and pull them, and something happened to the survivability of that spec
Hmm.
going into Legion,
Well,
and
if you
it doesn't
remember,
feel that way anymore.
well, no, it's not even that. If you remember, when it first started, they were supposed to be able to tank on every spec, so survivability was through the roof.
Yeah, and this was back when Blood was a DPS, not a tanking spec,
Well,
because this was a Blood Death Knight. But
so this
also,
went back
yes.
after they switched it so that Frost was the only tanking spec. Which, oh my gosh, yeah, they changed Death Knights so many times over the years. But no, okay, so I can see like having some really deep, hard like death metal going on in order to play a Death Knight. Like, okay, so you know how I always have a specific mounts tied to all my different characters, whatever fits with my head canon and all that stuff, right? Um, you get three guesses as to what my ground mount is for my Death Knight.
Hmm. Your
And think like heavy, hard rock, metal stuff like that. Like, what do you think it would be?
Are you on a motorcycle of some
I am
kind?
on a
Okay.
motorcycle of some kind.
Great.
You've got two choices here.
The Horde Chopper.
Yep, the Horde Chopper.
Okay.
I'm just like, okay, it's what my Death Knight rides. And I log in and I'm like, I get to the Dark Moon Fair and I'm like, okay, I just flew down here on my giant undead dragon, but guess what? Chopper time. Just riding in and everything, and I go into the Dark Moon Fair. I'm like, I'm gonna tear this place apart, and then I get on the carousel and get the buff, and then I use my Death Gate to get out of there. And in my mind, like this, massive guitars
I rode my chopper to the fair and got on the carousel, and then I death gated away.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Uh-huh. Super cool.
Yeah, my Death Knight's cool. I mean,
What you're describing is how I felt about my warrior. Like, I even took screenshots because I was like, look, I am this badass orc warrior with pigtails riding a motorcycle through Valhalla. This game is awesome. Like, that was a point for me where I was just like, all right, I'm feeling this in a real deep way. I'm feeling what's going on right here. And sometimes you just hit that with certain characters. It's good.
well, it's funny because I totally felt that same way in my warrior, except I was riding a wolf. I'm like, yeah, I'm basically, riding Skull or whatever through Valhalla, just being awesome here. As soon as I got my warrior and as soon as I got to Valhalla, I'm like, I need the biggest dragon ever for my flying mount on this thing. And I'm just so happy that you get Mr. Bitey for your actual class mount. It's perfect for it.
Yeah.
And the weapon racks on it and everything. It's just so many cool things.
Bim nailed it, which,
Yep.
this would have been a year, if not just a few months ahead. But if only I was playing the Immigrant song while I was there, that would have completed the whole thing. Would have been so good. Especially because that's the other thing is Warrior is the one class that I am insistent on. I won't use the artifact weapons. I'll equip them. I transmog them to look like something else because there are these horde two-handed axes that for whatever reason the model they hold them right up near the blade with the big old handle sticking out the bottom. It doesn't like stick out like a big ways away. They hold it like right up, almost like they're gonna just punch you with it. And it looks so freaking cool to be running around with them. And that's the only thing I ever give my warrior, because it looks 1,000 times cooler than anything else in the game.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I've had the hardest time doing is transmogging my warrior, because you have to get that exact right look of armor to go with how just awesome and badass you are as a warrior.
Yeah.
And like, you're right. I do have the artifact swords, for what it's Fury, right? For the two-handed swords. The two-handed swords, not the two-handed swords. That's like 4 hands. That doesn't work.
Yeah, it's too many hands.
Yeah, exactly. But like, I have them just because I think it's a cool look, because they're like all jagged and pointy and horrible, and I'm like, this is what you use to just like terrify and chop the crap out of someone. And finding a really good matching armor set is hard. I don't know if it's because I haven't actually gone through enough stuff on my warrior, so I haven't unlocked as much as I could, or if it's just that there's nothing that truly fits the perfect immigrant song mentality that I have for my warrior.
Yeah, I mean, it can be a tricky class to feel like you properly outfit. I think my biggest problem is, I don't know why this is the case. I mean, Blizzard just redid the character models, and when I saw that this is how it worked, I was just like, guys, really? The way they animate, at least, I don't know how many races, it might be more than this, but the way they animate female orcs running, if you're running with your weapons out, they clip through each other. Ooh. Because the way they angle their arms when they're running, they aim the blades inward. And so when they're moving their arms back and forth, they just clip constantly through each other. And I was just like, guys, come on. Like, you just redid this stuff. Now's the time to change this. Because that's not cool to see. Like, clipping is that thing that, yeah, it's kind of an unavoidable thing that happens, but we should do everything we can to try to avoid it. So that's another reason why I use those axes, is because they hold them so low. There's no chance of it doing that clipping thing.
I gotta find out what axe that is and see what it looks like for a panda holding it. Because, I mean, that's another issue that I have, is that, plate armor doesn't always look the best on a Pandaren. And
because they have to adjust it for their big bellies.
Yeah, I mean, she's awesome, and I love her to death. And like I said many times, the animations on her are so cool. And then I got a little sad when I was on my Dark Iron Dwarf in the beta, that he has some of the same animations for moves and everything. I'm like, oh, my Pandaren's not as special as she used to be, but she's still awesome because she has a kick on one of the moves and no one else does so far. So yeah, man, who ever would have thought that Legion would make us both fall in love with warriors?
I know. Well, they really nailed the Fury Warrior. Like, the only thing I wish is that it had a little more self-sustain, but I feel like I say that about everything.
Yeah, so... well, they do have that one move, and I mean, if you're constantly hitting it, you have a pretty good, like, health pool that keeps refilling.
The problem is that the design of the warrior is so heavy with, like, just, get in there and fight, like... I just go nonstop, and then next thing I know, I've got no health left, and I'm like, what happened? Oh, I've just spent the last 10 minutes just going from fight to fight to fight across the map, killing everything I see.
Oh yeah, if I could just charge everything, I would. I do have to say, though, something that I don't remember what I was just about to say because I got distracted by the chat room. Crap.
Yep, look what you did.
Oh, no. So, okay, something that I'm actually really curious about, and I've got to ask you this. This is going to be possibly an entirely huge noob question, and I'm sorry, but... Okay, so is animation canceling a thing I need to actually worry about? Like, if I have a move that does 3 really cool moves and everything, but the cooldown to hit anything, like the global cooldown, ends before it's over, and I hit that, does all the damage go through with the hits? I mean, I know this is like a stupid question, but I feel like my warrior's got to land every one of those hits. Otherwise,
Oh, I know what you mean. That big move where they do the like whack, 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 and you're
yeah,
worried like, should I be able to hit another ability while that's going on?
yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I always wait for it.
I know, so do I. Right? And like you feel the weight of it. It's like whack, 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 like just everything all down together at the same time and stuff. And I'm just like, so okay. There's three things that happen when I die when I'm playing a warrior. Either I'm not paying attention to my health because I'm, like you said, just rushing from one enemy to another and just killing everything in my path.
Mm-hmm.
I take on either way too much or something that there's no way I should ever be able to solo. Or I get so caught up in watching the animations that I'm not actually paying attention to what's happening and I just die.
Yeah.
Which like I'm kind of embarrassed that happens, but I don't
No,
care
but
because it just looks so cool.
it looks cool. Like, I genuinely think warriors might be the coolest looking class to play. At least Fury Warriors. It's the only class that I really get caught up in what they're doing, and I'm just like, oh, look at that. Like, while I'm playing, it looks so neat. And I understand there's probably a lot of people who are warrior mains, or at least way more into the warriors than the casual level that we are, where we're just like, it's great, isn't it the best? Yeah, it's the best. um, but it, like, I mean, I haven't done a deep dive. That's why I don't know if you can hit other things while you're in that animation. I don't care. I don't play my warrior to min max. I play my warrior because when I do that rush and my character does a freaking shoulder tackle and then does these big meaty swings at things, it feels cool and I'm like, yeah, this is great. That's why I play my warrior.
Well, okay, good news or bad news or maybe a mix of both, but Mew has said in chat that for some attacks, yes. But if you have scrolling combat text, you can see the hits. So you'll know when you can actually get the next one if that's something that you're worried about, which is, that's good. I think so.
I think I'll probably still stop to
But
watch it.
man, that like one move that I don't know, I think it's only available when there's like 20% left, where you take both weapons, just like swing down at like just an angle together, and you just you feel the heft of everything and the power behind that. Like I said, I'm really enjoying playing my Death Knight. It's cool, but there's something about the warrior that just feels so much more like just and mighty and amazing.
Well, I kind of want to go back to trying an undead rogue again. uh, because back in the day where it was the same moves across the board, they didn't have custom animations for abilities. Undead rogues, well, undead in general, like their specialty attack, they did a flip. And it was like the coolest thing in the world because you'd be fighting and you'd be doing all these twists and stuff. And then out of nowhere, they would do a spin in the air and they, coming out of the spin, would bring the weapon straight down.
Oh, that's cool.
And that was always, to me, one of the coolest feeling things in combat. I don't know if they still do it with the changes to animation. They probably still do for something. But I remember thinking that was one of my favorite animations that I've ever seen. That one's an old one, not a new one, but that's another one of those where I was just like, man, whoever designed this, like, I don't picture undead as the most, like, flipping around race in the world, but my goodness, that still looks super cool.
Yeah. So something that we haven't touched on yet is Paladin. Red Paladins are still feeling pretty good. I mean, from the beginning of the expansion, I remember I kind of went off about how awesome they were too. Warrior's still the best, don't get me wrong. But if you want to talk about an old move that always felt just so good to use, I don't remember what it's called because I don't main a Paladin. But it's when your target gets low or whatever, or usually about the time that they start running away, and you get to throw that like spectral hammer at it. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
I think you can do that at any time, the spectral hammer.
You can now. Like back in Kata or so, it was like when it was last 20% or something like that. And then you just throw the hammer at him and everything like that. That always felt really good to me.
Oh yeah,
it was like a total Thor moment, like boom.
Yeah, the hammer coming down was always one of my favorite abilities.
Oh no, not the judgment. this is something different.
Oh,
It's a kind of a finisher-ish type thing, but yeah, you just always have just a good overhand chuck. And I really wish I remember what it was called, but yeah, it is something of a beauty to see. Actually, oh, I love it. Absolutely love it. God, there are so many things about this, like all the different classes and stuff that feel so good. And that's one of the things I love about Legion is the fact that I've been able to actually go in and try all those new things.
chat's trying to appeal to me, talking about Bard being the best WoW class. Feels
Wait,
so weird. Let me tell you a side of the fence I never thought I'd be on is the freaking Bard side of the fence.
yeah,
Yeah.
holy crap, they're okay. For those who don't know, we're switching into D&D ideas, but bards are freaking powerful, man. They control a battlefield in D&D.
Yeah, I think that was the moment for me was I had experienced seeing and hearing about a bard and like they always felt like, yeah, you want to have them around, but they're not going to do anything. But it's all in how you play it. Like, frick, I'd be scared of a mean bard.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
so I would love to see a bard come to WoW. I would love to see. I mean, I don't know. I want the D&D bard where they
Yeah.
can influence people's thoughts, which is
So they're like a buff debuff thing, but also cause damage.
yeah,
No, that'd be pretty cool.
yeah.
I'd like that. If you want to talk about different classes and stuff, just my experience from Final Fantasy 11, I mean, that was class bloat by the time that I finished the game, and they continued for years afterwards, adding more things. But one of the things that was a lot of fun was the Puppet Master. Did I ever tell you about that?
I don't think so. Maybe.
So
I know a little bit about it.
yeah, so I mean, and forgive me if I don't remember everything exactly correct, but it was essentially you choose a type of puppet, like a light puppet or a dark puppet, and you're essentially um, kind of manipulating this puppet to do the things that you want, but you're not directly controlling it. So it's not like a pet class or something like that. So like, you're in there like attacking things as well. And based on different moves that you do, the puppet will react in certain ways. Like if you have the light puppet and someone's kind of low, if you hit a certain attacker or something, or health gets to a certain point, it'll automatically heal. It'll attack different things and stuff like that. Like I don't remember it fully, but I remember that I was really getting into it. And for some reason in Final Fantasy 11, I played the classes that no one understood or wanted to, because I was a huge summoner fan, and they always made me heal because summoners don't do anything apparently. But when I was on my Puppet Master, I was having a ton of fun with it, and I can actually not like main heal, but off heal enough so that we can have like a red mage or a summoner actually be the main healer, and I could like support them and use the puppet to like debuff things and stuff like that. And it was really cool. It was an entirely different way of gameplay and stuff.
Do you think WoW would ever do anything like? So we've got these new races that they're putting in, which are not really full races. I mean, they've got their own little sub menu. It's kind of like new race light.
Yeah.
Do you think they'd ever do that with classes where it's like, look, we're not going to do 3 specs for this, but if you want to play whatever, we put it in the game? I know it's a big ask with a class, but
the big thing about it is though is that a lot of the classes that they have essentially are just like the main classes that are already there. So the fact that they added like the Demon Hunter is a big deal, or the Death Knight and the Monk. But I mean, monks were put in essentially for that expansion. Death Knights could kind of be argued that they were at least story wise in the game already. Same with the Demon Hunters. But like at this point, I mean, and granted, I haven't really played a lot of Warcraft 3, so I don't really know exactly. But other than like subsets of the classes, I don't think there's any other like big thing that we can really put in unless it's like brand new to the lore as a whole.
yeah, but I think they should.
Oh, it'd be something that'd be cool. I mean, it's like, yeah, I'm a frost archmage. and because I'm an archmage, it gives me these little bonuses to this spec or these little bonuses to another spec or something like that.
I mean,
And
that's like
something cool.
that's like building off of a class, which I also think would be a cool thing. But I just mean like I have a feeling that sometimes, and granted, Demon Hunter they only did 2 specs for,
Yeah.
whereas Druid they have 4. So I don't feel like they're forcibly tied to it. But I do think sometimes there's this mindset of, oh, we got to design these multiple specs when, maybe they just want to put Bard in, and it's just a Bard. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be like, okay, here's the drummer Bard, here's the guitar Bard, and here's the singer Bard. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, that'd be the worst.
I think there's a temptation there to say like, okay, it's got to
Yeah.
be these things before we
Okay.
can put it in the game. Like maybe they just put in
And
a
then like
bard class.
add ninja.
Sure, add ninja.
It's different than a pirate or a pirate. Of course, it's different than a pirate. Pirates versus ninjas. No, it's different than a rogue. It's different enough that you can have an entire skill set. That's separate from it or something. I actually wouldn't mind if they did something along those lines as opposed to implementing full specs.
Or they could even make it to where like that's your multi-class. Like so in going back to Final Fantasy, which you mentioned, this is why I was always like, man, it should have made sense a long time ago that I'd be into bards. I always liked red mages. Like I
Yeah.
always thought that was the coolest class in Final Fantasy, with the exception of Dragoon. Um, and when you think about it, that's just a priest and a warlock, basically
Yeah.
mixed into one,
Send a mage.
and a little bit of rogue mixed in there, like, uh, so I feel like that would be a cool way that they could do potentially multi-classing rather than make it traditional multi-classing where it's one character adopts it. Add a new spec that is just the multi-class of, okay, here's our version of the red mage. It's a priest and mage combo.
I mean, if you want to put it into D&D terms, that's essentially what all the classes are.
Yep.
They just have a whole crap ton of skills and then stick them with classes and see how they work.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could make a bard out of, well, kind of a warlock.
I
mean,
think,
you could
yeah,
some spells and stuff.
bard would
Along
probably
with,
be priest warlock.
I'd say druid warlock because you got the hots in there. Like throw a hot or something in there, or an enhancement, as opposed to like a direct heal like a priest would have. Because if you're thinking about it, you have a song, so it's going to be a heal over time versus just
Sure.
the instant hit.
I think my thought is like, okay, but if you did a druid, then you've got a bunch of other druid abilities, and outside of a heal over time, none of them make sense at that point.
Well, I'm pulling from things, not and then bards can also turn into cats. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, the secret ability that bards have.
Yes, you sing a certain song, and it's like you sing the Meow Mix theme. Meow 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 meow. Poof, you're a cat.
Although I will say it was pretty funny. Just a weird random aside while we're talking about Dungeons and Dragons. Like none of the bard abilities really make any sense.
No.
I was talking to Bo about leveling up my character and some things I was considering, and I told him a spell, and he's all, "You get that spell?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." Or I potentially do. And he's all, yeah, the thing that you always think that someone who sings really well can do. Magically heat up metal. Of course. That's just a thing that they can do. Because
Hey, if
why
you get to
not?
the right pitch, why not, right?
Yeah. You hit the heat up metal note.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
near
it's like
the
the
brown
note.
note, but different.
it's the red hot note. That's what it is.
Anyway, I think that would be cool. I don't know if they'll ever do it, but I think that it would be an interesting area to explore, like kind of doing a weird hybrid class thing.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that. I mean, the thing is, and we come back to this every single time, is that customization and variety are the things that we want most in World of Warcraft. Whether it be gear, whether it be abilities, whether it just be, faces, So having a bunch of different classes in there that are kind of, mix and matches of certain things, it would kind of help with the homogenization of classes because yeah, not everybody gets a battle res, but some of the classes do have it. It's one of those things where they can balance it by giving more option, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's it just seems like a neat idea because I mean, look at what lengths we're going to unlock transmog armor that we don't want.
Hey, it's a trench coat. I want it now.
Well, yeah, okay. I would
Oh,
say
man.
the Coltiran humans and the Magar orcs are probably the first two where I was like, because have you seen the orc one?
No.
It's good. It's really good.
That's
It's super good.
dude. Well, the downside is that we don't get them for every character, and the worst thing is that if you race change out of that, I wonder if you get to keep the armor unlocked for that race.
I would hope so.
Like, imagine if you leveled all the way for the Coltiran and you're like, okay, I, for whatever reason, want to be a regular human now. I don't know.
Right.
That'd be the dumbest thing.
I've done it. Now to be a normal human like all the other humans.
Race change into a Gilnean. It's like, oh, in my headcanon, I got bit by a werewolf and my accent changed. Sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know all the rules, but somebody go out there and find Ben a picture of the Magar orc heritage armor and link it to him so he can look at it in all its glory. It's awesome. But it's already going for an aesthetic that I like because it actually looks a lot like what I put on my orc warrior already. It's very similar concept where it's, very little chest protection, but then big bulky pads on the hands and feet, which makes for a really cool silhouette with an orc.
Hey, look, I looked it up and oh wow, why do you have big horns coming out of your head though?
Well, I mean, you can toggle helmet off.
Yeah, true. That's funny. The first one is the hunched over orc. The second one is the standing straight up orc.
Of course.
Oh yeah, the Frostwolf version's pretty cool. Ah, that's kind of cool. Cool stuff.
It's good stuff. So, I mean, like we will go crazy for stuff like that. So,
Yes.
whether it's classes, items, ability colors, I mean, like I would murder a boss mob if it meant like I could control what color my abilities were when they came out. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, look what Warlocks did for Green Fire.
Yeah.
So I think that there's a real like desire here that Blizzard could tap into, and I don't know if it's a resources or a time thing, but I mean they have us where they could get us to do some pretty insane things for some pretty mundane things. They just haven't really committed to it yet.
And for some reason, the way that you said Green Fire made me think of the dumbest thing, and we probably have to end the show because it's so dumb.
Okay, you're probably right because it's time, but
Warlocky charms, now with Green Fire, marshmallows. Hey John, thank you very much for joining me this week. It's been a rather fun time talking to you about all the different classes and everything, and how we completely sidestepped the idea that I had at the very beginning of the show what to talk about.
I mean, I didn't mean to do that.
Oh, I know. No, it totally worked though, because I had a lot of fun.
Okay. Well, I had a lot of fun too.
Yeah, exactly. Until next episode, though, where can people find you?
Hey, if you want to hear more from me, you can follow me on Twitter at John_Jagger. Well, where I will tell you where I will be and what I will be doing. That was too many wheres and wells all in one sentence.
Oh, you are a war.
War will tell where to be. Twitter at John_Jagger. I will say what I'm up to most of the time, but for those who don't want to read that, you can catch me every Saturday at 3 p.m. Pacific time for There Will Be Dungeons. That's the Dungeons & Dragons stream that we've alluded to a couple times in this episode. You can also catch me on Core, which is the Heroes of the Storm show I do, part of the Frog Pants Network, and you can find out more about that at heroesforyou.com. Ben?
Yes, John.
Where can people find you?
Best place to find me is on Twitter. I am at Ben the Mage. There you can find out when I do shows like this show or the other show that I do, Battle Pets with Eludra, where we talk about battle pets in the World of Warcraft. Something before we do go, though, I do want to mention uh, if you guys are going to BlizzCon, I highly recommend that you check out the Con Before the Storm. It is a very, very fun Thursday night event. But here's the thing: they're doing a Kickstarter, and they still need some more support. It's funded, but their stretch goals are pretty amazing, to the point where if you've gone in the past and you've actually enjoyed seeing us at a little thing called World of Podcasts, that's not happening unless we get or unless they get the Kickstarter level funded for that. So make sure to head over to, gosh, I honestly don't know what the site is. I should look for it.
Why don't you look it up, and I'll talk a little bit about it myself, because yeah, I agree. We have participated in it since the beginning. It's one of my favorite things to do there. It's great fun. Every year is an event. Last year was me trying to win a Sylvanas statue and failing miserably in a very public and obvious fashion. So isn't that rewarding? And yeah, so Mewcow actually just linked it in the chat.
Yeah, just go to Kickstarter.com, do a search for Con Before the Storm 2018.
Yeah, and you know, we're going to be there. You've talked about World of Warcraft every year there. I've done World of Warcraft and Heroes of the Storm panels, and it is a good time every time, and I would like to do it again. So get out there, throw your support behind it. Don't do what I sometimes do and just assume that because it happened before, it will happen again. It needs support. So if you can support it, go out there and do it.
Exactly, and they need to. They've hit their their awesome goal. They've hit their first stretch goal. Actually, they need to hit 2 more before they have the World of Podcasts, and that's one of my favorite things. It actually has nothing to do with the fact that I've been on panels. It has to do with the fact that it's a fun time overall. So head on over there and yeah, give them a look. Toss them a couple bucks if you can.
Yeah, it's a great party.
In the meantime, though, until BlizzCon, you can always find our show on the Twitters. That'd be at AzerothRT. Also, any episode, this one included, you can find on AzerothRoundtable.com, also on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, and a whole bunch of other podcasting places that are linked to places that we have no idea how it all works. It just happens.
Magic.
If you have any questions, comments, want to tell us about what class you think is, that just feels the best, you can always send those emails to AzerothRoundtable@gmail.com.
And hey, everybody, as always, a special thank you to our patrons for making this all possible, for letting us do the show, for keeping the lights on and giving me enough time to make new overlays for the show. Thank you. First of all, thank you to our newest patron, Local Clovis. Thank you for being a new patron. And as always, a thank you to the Murloc Club, Frasley S., Kryn, Haster, Mimi H., Aaron, and Simon. Thank you so much for your additional extended support. We greatly appreciate it. Ben's going to make a Murloc sound for you.
And of course, Local Clovis is much better than the imported Clovis.
That's right.
Yeah, locally sourced.
At least until imported Clovis supports us on Patreon.
Yeah,
then
exactly.
We can't pick favorites anymore.
Nope.
So get on it, imported Clovis. Wait, imported Clovis.
Imported, yeah. Exactly.
I got my Clovises mixed up.
That's okay, it happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, John, from me, from you, from the cat that made noises midway through the show, everybody, thank you very much for joining us. It has been a blast. Go level those characters. John, make another rogue. And until next time, everybody, be good to each other.
It's rogue time.
So, is this your Rogue One?
No, Rogue One was a long time ago. Not gonna say it. Not gonna say it.
I was waiting for that.
I know you were. I could see it on your face. You were like, come on. Come on. You set yourself up so perfectly.
Good night, everybody. And that's a podcast.
Hey, we did it.
You get too, but I'm like, no, I'm going to give him that chance. Gotta do it.
Thanks, chat room, for joining us.
Man, it is weird looking at the other side of the screen during the entire show, and I had to move things around and cover things up.
Yep. Kind of mess, but you have to agree you looked better on the Alliance side.
I did because of the blue chair. You're right.
And there's like a blue light on you, or at least it looks like.
There's definitely not a blue light anywhere.
The lighting is hitting you in such a way that it appears blue. I don't know if you have a blue background.
Your screen or something, because I'm not seeing it in my camera.
Yeah, it could be my screen. Anyway,
whatever.
There's a blue quality to that. Does anybody else see that? Oh, no, not right now because you're not on camera.
Like, no, John, we don't.
Anyway, there's a blue quality to Ben. That's why he was on the Alliance side. Originally, I was going to take the bullet. I was going to be on the Alliance side. And then when I looked at it, I was just like, oh, nope, it looks better the other way because I've got this goofy freaking orange light that is what lights me, and it causes a red hue on me. So
yeah, well, John, you know what they say. I'm blue. Daba diba da da. Daba deeboo diba.
I'm blue. Yes, I think I'm a guy. I'm blue. That's what I used to think they said.
Oh. I think you might have been wrong.
I'm really good at getting lyrics right, Ben.
Yeah, I know.
I haven't ruined Moana for anybody.
That's so great. And we'll leave it at that.
If you don't know what we're talking about, you should follow me and Thist and Pat Crane. And our interactions will teach you where exactly to find the hidden F-bomb in Moana.
Yes. So hidden that it's right in the song.
It's right in the song.
No, Wicked Kitten, I guess it rains down in Africa.
I guess.
I guess it rains.
I guess it rains down in Africa.
It happened in The Lion King, right?
Yeah.
I guess it rains.
You're not really sure about the rains.
No, I'm guessing, though.
Just like in my version of Moana, it's a bit pessimistic because the tides only rise.
Yeah. Good stuff.
That's
That was a fun show.
It's like the tides. Always effing rising.
Yup. Freaking A, they're always rising.
Freaking tides, always rising.
Damn it.
It's the worst, the tides.
Oh, man. It's like high tide, and then higher tide, and then even higher tide. That's all that happens.
Yeah, I'm happy that I ruined that song. So, congratulations to everybody. We did it. You will now only hear that lyric if you know what we're talking about. If not,
I guess it rains down in Moana.
Yeah, that's the lyric. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're gonna call that a show because I put in laundry before we started the show.
Oh.
And I'm gonna go move it to the dryer.
Oh,
living dangerously on the weekend.
Okay. Yeah.
Today on the weekend, John.
Today, Junior
moves the laundry.
I'm gonna be doing that tomorrow.
Great.
Gonna be laundry time.
Yep. So thanks, chat. You were great. I hope you liked the new overlay. I spent time on them. So that's all we got.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. I'm looking forward to 2 years of this. It might change before 2 years, but we'll see.
Yeah, you never.
Yeah. Anyway, have a good night, chat. We will. Oh right, I gotta get ready so that they can,
Yeah, because that's how that works.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Sure. Chat room, have a good night. Thank you all so much. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.